This episode of The Witch Wave is brought to you by Wheel of Fate in Edinburgh, Scotland. At Wheel of Fate Witch Shop, you can learn to make your own besom broom, bind a spellbook, or spin wool into yarn. There you can find local art inspired by heritage crafts, the natural world, and regional myths and folklore. At Wheel of Fate, they believe that there is magic in the creative arts, and they want to share that magic with you. Visit wheeloffate.co.uk to book a workshop or to learn more about their new location. Hey there. So people are always asking me how they can get more Witch Wave, how they can work with me, how they can find magical community. And my answer is join the Witch Wave Patreon. There is where you'll get bi-weekly bonus Witch Wave Plus episodes, as well as ad-free Witch Wave episodes and detailed show notes for all. The Witch Wave Patreon is also where I lead a monthly online magical ritual, which you can attend live or watch the recording of at your convenience. And that's available for members at all tiers. And then rewards for some other tiers also include magical merch and contests where you can win Witchly prizes, as well as getting early heads up about my workshops before they sell out, and opportunities to get magical one-on-one guidance from me. And all backers get access to our exclusive digital coven, where you can connect to a community of other wonderful Witch Wave witches around the world. So head on over to patreon.com/witchwave and sign up. It's a marvelous way to get more magic in your life and to support the show. Thank you so much.
The world is filled with bewitching people, and you might be one too. Welcome to the podcast where art is magic is real, and reality is stranger than dreams. I'm Pam Grossman, and this is The Witch Wave.
Hello and welcome to the Witch Wave. Happy Gemini season. How are you? Hi. Are you feeling any change in the air? You know, I've been hanging out in chrysalis mode for a while, but I feel like some things are starting to stir. More on that in a minute. But I just wanted to quickly remind you that this Saturday, May 30th, I'll be doing an event at the Woodland Arts Complex, Mildred's Lane, which is just on the border of Pennsylvania, across the bridge from Narrowsburg, New York. And I'm told there will be dinner, and then I'll be in conversation with the head of Mildred's Lane, all about magic and art. And then I'll be leading a blue moon ritual over a fire, and it's gonna be something. Tickets are available now at pamgrossman.com/events. And there you'll see some other things I've got going on this June in Hudson, New York with friend of the pod Melissa Oftermauer and Melora Krieger from Rasputina. Oh my gods. And then in July at Lilydale, New York with my beloved spirit photographer pal Shannon Taggart and many other Witch Wave faves. So lots going on this summer. Check it out, pamgrossman.com/events. But getting back to the chrysalis and the stirring of it all. Today's episode is all about the magic of theater, because I get to speak with my ultra-inspiring friend and recent magical collaborator, the Tony Award-winning director of Oh, Mary and the 9-time Tony-nominated Rocky Horror Show on Broadway, Sam Pinkleton. And Sam entering my life has been so meaningful for me for so many reasons, just one of which is that his presence is the latest in a string of, affirmations, supernatural nudges, cosmic breadcrumbs from spirit to remind me of my own theatrical roots, as well as the theatrical roots of ritual in general. And look, I don't think I've talked about this too much on here, but I was a total theater kid. Not to brag, but little Pammy G starred in several school plays, and I was serious about it. I loved it. I went to a performing arts sleepaway camp for many years in the summers, and even did a season of semi-professional kids theater where we toured other schools and performed. And let me just say right now, if you're picturing a little trilling songbird ingenue type, no, that was not the vibe. Let me put it this way. You know how pretty much every little girl goes through an Annie phase and wants to be Annie or Molly or one of the other orphans? Not me. I wanted to be Miss Hannigan. I was obsessed with her, so much so that I had my mom buy me a satiny robe, polyester, from TJ Maxx, which had this giant magenta rose print all over it. And I would wear this robe and just sort of swan around my house, bellowing and belting and doing my best Carol Burnett. Side note, do yourself a favor, go and rewatch the Easy Street scene from the movie Annie, because you have never seen three hotter, more charismatic human beings than Carol Burnett, Bernadette Peters, and Tim Curry together. I am telling you, but I digress. Anyway, yeah, that's what I loved. Big, funny performances with fabulous costumes. And even though I was the second smallest girl in my grade, Dana Donatelli had me beat, I had big, brassy pipes. At sleepaway camp, I played Lola in Damn Yankees. And one year, the director wanted to cast me as Mama Rose, but then decided the teenagers would be pissed to get upstaged by an 11-year-old, so I got relegated to the part of Big June. Anyway, once I got to middle school, and then definitely throughout high school, a whole host of things transpired, which we don't have time to unpack here, but let's just say my performative side went a little dim. Not entirely quiet. I turned to poetry and did tons of poetry readings, and I got way more into visual art and some semi-secret songwriting, and of course, witchcraft. And my parents still took me and my sister into the city to see Broadway shows for birthdays and special occasions. But I didn't set foot on a stage in a costume to perform and entertain people for a very, very long time after that. Yet my love of performance and spectacle never went away. You all know I've been obsessed with SNL for most of my life, and I love drag, and even the musicians I tend to gravitate towards are people like Bjork and Bowie and Beyonce, artists who use performance as a means to open an otherworldly portal of identity and ceremony and enchantment. And look, I'm not regretful about the path my life has taken. I feel so grateful that I've been able to express my magic through writing and teaching and leading rituals and doing this podcast. But my love of theater and theatricality is bone deep. I mean, I married a playwright, for God's sakes, right? And since meeting Matt over 2 decades ago, I've been exposed to some of the most incredible theater I've ever seen, and have also studied how theater and magic are inextricably linked. We've talked before about the roots of Western theater and how it comes out of a tradition of worshiping the Greek god Dionysus. And of course, every culture has a history of combining costume and dance and song and ritual to interface with the divine. This is our birthright. Not to mention the members of such wildly influential magical societies like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the founders of Wicca, and even contemporary esoteric groups like Unarius were and are full of theater makers. But in recent years, I've been thinking much more deeply about the moments I've witnessed in an overtly theatrical context that seem to part the veil between worlds, if only for an instant. I have an ongoing list I keep of these moments. Moments like seeing Mark Rylance as Rooster drumming furiously to the gods at the end of the Jez Butterworth play Jerusalem. The wedding scene in The Tempest at Classic Stage Company starring Mandy Patinkin that was so tender and atmospheric and ethereal. It took my breath away. The bone-picking funeral ceremony in Aya Ogawa's The Nosebleed, and moments by theater makers Sybil Kempson, Normandy Sherwood, and yes, Matthew Freeman, too numerous to name here. And a couple years ago, as I was contemplating the connections between theater and magic, I will confess to you here and now that I set the intention to more fully integrate my theatrical, spectacle-loving side with my bewitching, magic-making side. And careful what you witch for, because cut to, yes, being on stage with Jinx Monsoon at Carnegie Hall. I know, take a shot, she's mentioning it again. But I was up there making magic in the garment of my dreams, made by the aforementioned Normandy Sherwood, and casting a collective love spell. Cut to being invited by Broadway demigod Sam Pinkleton to do a ritual at Studio 54 with him and the company of the Rocky Horror Show on Broadway. And I'm now in the process of simmering my own version of a ritual theater thing in my not-so-secret creative cauldron. So watch this space. Making magic with other people in a room together and having a ball while doing it is what I think we could all use more of. Now, about said Rocky Horror Show, this production is an absolute masterpiece, okay? Just do yourself a favor, go see it. It is so joyful and radical and resplendent and sexy and silly and packed with magic. And the whole show became an instant favorite theater experience of all time for me. But there's one scene in particular where Sam and the performers and the designers have crafted a moment on stage that is so transcendent that as I watched it, it felt for me like a giant shimmering hand pulling back the curtain between realms. I get chills just thinking about it, and yes, it is now on my list. Suffice it to say, Sam Pinkleton suddenly entering my life in the last year and then entering the hallowed sonic halls of the witch wave has been a wild and deeply wondrous gift, not only for the reasons mentioned already, but also because, as you'll hear, he is just the loveliest gem of a human being. And so I am beyond thrilled to share our conversation with you today. But before we get to that, first, let's check and see what's come through on the Witch Wire.
Who is it?
Witches!
Hi, Pam. My name's Sinead. I'm calling from Albany, New York. Currently a very out of practice witch for a while now. I've been really wanting to reconnect with my practice and just integrate that a little bit more into my life, make more space for it. Most recently, I have a beautiful, perfect little angel of a senior dog named Henry. He's 15. And this has kind of also sparked my desire to reconnect with my practice. In the past, I've definitely kind of integrated him into my work super, super subtly. But as he enters this next phase of his life, I really find that it's important to connect with him in a really sacred way. And I was just wanting maybe rituals to prepare him for the journey to the next life. I just want to do something special for him and make him feel magically soothed and seen and loved and supported through this last period of his life. But other than that, I love your work. I love your podcast. I love listening to you talk to other witches and other creatives and artists. I've learned so much from your work and your podcast, and I just appreciate all that you do. And thank you for all of that, and thank you for listening to this message.
Hi, Sinead. Thank you for this beautiful message, and I am sending you and Henry so much love. You are clearly so fortunate to have found one another. And so first of all, let me just say that I think the care that you're giving him is already so magical. And so he is already going to cross over feeling so much safety and love just because of who you are and how you are present for him. So no notes there. But I was thinking about certain practices and specific deities that might be helpful here too. And there are many canine-centric gods cross-culturally, but the ones who are coming to mind for me are Anubis, the Egyptian jackal-headed god, who is also a god of the underworld. He is a psychopomp, which is a guide of souls into the afterlife. And so reading about him, working with him, maybe lighting a candle for him, and asking him for protection, guidance, and ease for Henry in these twilight years might be helpful. And the other one who is really being loud about it for me is, yes, Hecate, the Greek goddess of witchcraft and magic and liminality and the crossroads. She is also considered a psychopomp. Remember, she had a prominent role in the Persephone Demeter myth, guiding them in and out of Hades using the light of her torch. All hail Hecate Phosphoros, the light bringer. But one of her other epithets is Hecate Philoskylax, or Philoskylax, which means lover of dogs. Hecate famously is surrounded by dogs, usually black hounds, but really any dog is going to be sacred to her. And some even say that if you hear dogs barking in the distance, you know that means that Hecate is around. So for those witchly folks who have a dog as their familiar or several dogs, Hecate is a wonderful protector and magical guide. And same as I mentioned before with Anubis, you can learn about Hecate, you can represent her on an altar, light a candle for her, you can make an offering to her at a crossroads. And really anything will do, but she is said to especially love garlic, bread, onions, and fish. And if you're intrigued by Hecate, I did do an online workshop all about her, which you can download from the Witchwave shop. That's witchwavepodcast.com/shop. Just scroll down and you'll see the Hecate recording. But anyway, writing a petition to her or otherwise invoking her and asking her to watch over Henry on both sides of the veil as he's transitioning into his spirit form will likely bring some comfort to both you and your pup. I'll be thinking about you too, and I'm sending each of you all my love in the days and nights to come. Now, on to my guest. Sam Pinkleton is a Tony Award-winning director, choreographer, and, according to his bio, gay person, in case you had any doubts. He won his Tony for directing Cole Escola's Oh, Mary. He got another Tony nomination in choreography for Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, and he's directed countless other shows, both on and off Broadway and around the world, including Josh Sharp's Ta-Da and Morgan Bassakis's Can I Be Frank, which I just saw myself this past weekend. And talk about theater and magic. This show is truly one of the most moving and hilarious pieces of theater that is also powerful ancestor magic and an act of adorcism, which is the opposite of exorcism. Morgan essentially invites the spirit of the groundbreaking and undersung comedian Frank Maya into his being and into the theater. And the performance and stage sorcery that he and Sam have conjured together is beyond special. Please do yourself a favor and get tickets for it. It's up for the third run, and it is at Soho Playhouse here in New York through June 27th. Sam's work in film and TV includes Dying for Sex and the musical The End, starring Tilda Swinton. And I'm honestly furious at myself for not asking him about either of these, because the series Dying for Sex and Tilda Swinton are two of my favorite things of all time, but that's okay. Sam is about to direct the dance musical Kaylee, and yes, he directed the 9-time Tony-nominated revival of Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show on Broadway at Studio 54, which is up right now. Go, go, go see it! Sam somehow found the time to join me in person here in the Brooklyn studio, and you can watch the video of our conversation over on my YouTube channel, which is at Phantasmophile. Sam Pinkleton, welcome to the Witch Wave.
I'm so happy to be here. You don't even know.
I do know, because I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for doing it. And I know how busy you are, so I'm just so honored. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So listen, Rocky fucking horror. I realized that since you and I started working together on it, and we'll talk a little bit about that, I don't understand, or I don't know the origin story of how Rocky even came into your life. So can you just walk us through, like, how did you get this invitation, or did you pitch it to somebody else? How did that all work?
Sure. Rocky existed in my periphery, as it has for most people perhaps. I saw the film in my 20s. I was very upset that I hadn't seen it sooner, because I think it probably would have made my teenage years better if I had had it as a touch point. But I never thought about it as something that I could intersect with creatively. And in like 2018, 8 years ago, my friend runs a theater in San Francisco, and she called me and was like, I want to do a big show that really like celebrates the Bay Area. And I want to like bring in all of these Bay Area artists, and I want it to be big and freaky, and it was going to be in a 1,000-seat theater. And I was like, what about Rocky Horror?
Yes.
And as I said it, I was like, what are you talking about? You don't even know Rocky Horror that well. And I went home that night and I watched it, and I became obsessed.
Yes.
And I spent the next like 2 years thinking about putting this production in San Francisco together and casting it. And I was 3 days away from starting rehearsal when the world shut down in 2020.
Oh, fuck, yes.
So it was like all of the ingredients were laid out on the counter, and like company was coming, and we didn't get to make the meal.
Oh, Oh, no.
So it stayed a kind of pebble in my shoe, and I wasn't able to do it in San Francisco once theater kind of cranked back from the pandemic. But I stayed obsessed, and through a remarkable and strange turn of show business events, which I will not bore you with, I suddenly found myself doing it not in San Francisco, but on Broadway at Studio 54.
Wow.
So it's been a long and winding path. And all along the way, I've talked to every kind of person who has every kind of relationship with Rocky Horror.
Oh,
and
yes.
I feel like I've gone to the University of Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm. And I've told you a little bit about my Rocky story, and I'm sure you've heard so many versions of
I
this.
want yours.
I mean, mine is just, grew up in suburban New Jersey, witchy, weird, arty kid. You can picture, I'm sure.
Did you have bangs?
Oh, huge Jersey bangs.
Yeah.
Huge. At this point, though, I was probably like 14-year-old. And I remember thinking, and I think a lot of people say this, seeing Rocky at the video store and thinking it was a horror movie and feeling like scared.
Yeah.
And I don't know what made me finally rent it. And then when I did, I was like, oh.
Sure.
And it's like levels unlocking in my brain of like everything, like libidinous levels, artistic levels, aesthetic levels, all of these things. And it really feels like it's the kind of show that like expands people's minds and makes new, like, I don't know, synapses fire or something.
Yes.
Did it feel like that for you when you saw it, or were you already fully formed enough that it didn't have quite that effect?
Entirely.
Yeah.
And expansion is always the word to me with Rocky. Rocky is this thing that says, look at all the possibilities and keep looking and keep going and keep going. So it definitely hit something for me sexually. It hit something for me as a theater maker. But also the film is just gorgeous.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, it's so stylish and there's so much like restraint and it's so well designed. So I think even just watching it for the first time, I was like, these people know what they're doing.
Yes.
And not to mention, it's offering an expansive view of everything. that we sorely need.
Yes. So did you have any level of intimidation around this? Because it is like such a sacred cow. Or were you just like, fuck it, like I'm made for this, let's go?
Oh, no. Of course I wasn't like that. Yeah, it's all intimidation. And I had to make a choice early on because in talking to people about Rocky Horror, one of the really delicious things about it is that everybody feels something really strongly.
Yes.
But it's often in direct contradiction to the next person.
Yes.
So before even agreeing to do it, I was like, okay, so I can't make everyone happy, which is like devastating to me as a people pleaser. So if I'm going to agree to do this, I have to agree to do it with the contract of not everyone is going to have all of their dreams come true.
Yes.
And it is this great American pop culture myth. It comes with a ton of baggage. It is fine without me, which is humbling. It's like impossible to insert myself as the hero of the Rocky Horror story. It's like, Rocky Horror doesn't need you. So I
But it does, Sam. It does, and it did.
Well, I've enjoyed spending time with it. But, I signed up for it very consciously knowing the weight of the expectations. And there have been moments of terror to that. But if I'm being honest, it became so liberating in process to say, of course, everyone is expecting everything and everybody wants this and this person wants that and this person wants that. And this person feels like if we don't do this, we've ruined their life. All we can do is like look each other in the eye and like take a deep breath and like try to really honor the spirit of it and be honest and do it well.
Yes.
It's such a cliche, but like, and then hand it over.
Yeah.
And in a way, Rocky Horror comes with the most expectations of anything I've ever done, but it also came with the most relief and the most release because of the complete impossibility of meeting those expectations.
Yes.
Total impossibility. And I was like, oh, great. I can't do that.
Yes.
That's not an option. So what I can do is like try to have a really nice time and make a great show.
And you did.
Oh, thanks.
You absolutely did. I told you this already too, but for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, I remember the moment that I discovered that you were going to be directing it because Matt and I were sitting in the plaza across from, I forget what theater it is, but we were seeing John Proctor is the villain.
Amazing play.
Amazing show. And the poster, I think, had like just gone up. Rocky Horror, Sam Pinkleton. And I looked at Matt and I locked eyes with him and I said, Matt, that could not be more perfect. Like, I was so overjoyed. And this is someone who like loves this show, does feel a little, I'm not hardcore the way I know you've interfaced with some fans, but like, this is very precious to me.
Sure.
And the second I saw your name attached to it, because of course I love O'Mary and I felt this kinship with you already, I just knew that like the stars were aligning and I had zero doubts about this.
I'm so glad I didn't know that because, as you know, I'm like a not small fan of yours, and knowing like Pam Grossman thinks it's a good idea for me to direct this would have added to that expectation pile in such a violent way.
I get that. And I do that kind of warped thing myself.
Of course.
Because someone might think like, oh, that's such an endorsement. That's such an affirmation. You're on the right track. You're like, no.
No, I would be like, I'm going to let her down. I'm going to let her down.
Well, you absolutely did not.
Thank you.
And not only did you not let me down, but what the fuck, Sam? Like, you reached out to me and invited me to do a ritual, a private ritual with some of the cast and crew and you. One of the biggest honors of my life, and I'm saying that without hyperbole.
Same.
And without, trying to like pat myself on the back too much.
No,
I really
pat.
No. I really want to know though, like, why did you want to bring ritual? Leaving me out of it.
Yeah.
Why did you want to bring ritual to this particular production and this show?
Well, I believe in ritual as a core part of process.
Mm-hmm.
I like building process around ritual, and ritual doesn't have to be a capital R, but I do like to play. Like, I make theater because I like making theater in a really nerdy, elemental way. And ritual is just part of that. Like, I'm not adding to theater by being like, there's ritual. Like, it is ritual.
Yes. There's
but
a
if I'm
long
being
tradition
totally
of that.
honest,
Yeah.
and if I may pat you on the back, I was at the Jinx Monsoon concert at Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
And
The listeners were like, this again.
they're talking about, I know. I
feel like I talk about it too much. Oh, please, go ahead.
I was there as an innocent civilian, and Jinx was like, I'd like to introduce my special guest. And I was like, it's going to be Ariana Grande. And she said, it's Pam Grossman. And I was like, Pam Grossman, who wrote that book that I love so much. What's happening? And you came out, and I'm not trying to blow smoke. I, for those like 7 minutes or whatever it was, experienced something in the theater, like an act of theater that was so honest and so, pardon my language, magic. And it was transformative. I like left the theater feeling different than I did. And it felt so connected to that space.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like you did something to that room.
Mm-hmm.
And that just like was filed in the back of my head as like, thank God I was there. That's a core memory. And then soon after, I found out that we were doing Rocky Horror at Studio 54, a building much like Carnegie Hall that comes with a bit of like, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Like,
and packed with ghosts.
Totally.
Yes.
And, we were coming in after a production of Oedipus, as the Brits say.
Yes.
And I just thought, like, what is the, like, not bullshitty way of saging the space?
Mm-hmm.
This giant space. Like, what is the way that we as a group can come in and say, hey, building, hey, history, hey, ghosts, hey, floor, thank you for having us. We're so happy to be here, and we don't want to let you down. And I became obsessed with this.
Yeah.
And I said to a friend, I was like, I just wish we could do something like what Jinx had Pam Grossman do at Carnegie Hall. And they were like, what if you ask? And I wrote to Jinx and was like, do you mind giving me Pam's information? And I just, like, I couldn't have anticipated for you to respond in such a generous way because I was so nervous writing you. But it wasn't a footnote of the process. I guess that's what I want to say. It actually was one of the first things that I thought about. Like, I thought about the need to mark the space and the time with some kind of ritual, and multiple rituals actually throughout the process, before I was even like, what do the costumes look like?
Yeah.
Because I think there's a really beautiful weight to getting to do what we're doing in that space.
Yes. Well, first of all, I can't thank you enough for being so kind to me. Like hearing someone that I admire speak so beautifully about work that I did, it just like lights me up so much. So
I'm sorry if your
that's
listeners
so
are tired of
kind.
hearing about it. It's a really big deal.
It's so lovely. Well, thank you. And that means the world to me on like a trillion levels, but we will not unpack all of that here. What I do want to say though is Rocky to me is also such a divinely ecstatic show. And you and I have talked a lot about Dionysus.
Yeah.
And Dionysus has been invoked on this very podcast by Jinx Monsoon and others. But it was clear to me that this show feels very Dionysian. And Frankenfooter feels like a Dionysus type
1,000%. Yes.
incarnation,
Yes.
right? And so for me as well, when you invited me, and it was like the best email maybe I've ever gotten, but okay, Sam. It just like, I don't know, it just felt like the magic wanted to be Dionysian as well. So for me, I was like, well, we definitely want to bless up the space. We definitely want to talk to the ghosts and the ancestors. But how can we also get some Dionysus in here? And you told me that I think it was your dramaturg had brought Dionysus
The
kind
amazing
of
Chris Mills,
into the
summoner
chat
of Dionysus.
already.
Yes.
So can you talk a little about that connection?
You know, I think when people think about Rocky Horror, they're like, Rocky Horror, yeah, like sex stuff, right? Like predatory sex stuff. Ooh. But to me and to my team, like so much of Rocky Horror is about an offering of sex, of touch, of sensation, of pleasure, of indulgence, of deliciousness that exists without shame and without judgment. And that is some crazy shit for 2026.
Unfortunately, yes.
And it was big for me, like personally, to like try to imagine creating a world of pleasure without shame.
Yes.
And where do you look for that, for models of that, for healthy models of that?
Mm-hmm.
And Dionysus was an offering.
Yes, big time.
Of like, hey, guess what? We're all gonna die. Like, have a nice time. Be good to each other. Drink wine. Have sex. Make theater.
Yes.
And that is Frankenfurter. I don't think that Frankenfurter comes in being like, I'm going to do bad stuff and make people feel bad. I think that there are things that happen in Rocky Horror that get out of control and thus there are consequences.
Yep.
But I do think that the impulse is one of goodness and pleasure. And to me, that is a direct line to Dionysus.
Yes.
I feel like at the beginning of this process, I kind of was like saying Dionysus as a joke. You know, I was like, oh, I have to check in with Dionysus. And Dionysus is now like with me all the time.
Yes.
And I do find myself saying his name in a way that I think potentially like fundamental Christians are like, I have to ask Jesus.
Yeah.
But it just feels very natural.
Yes.
And so I'm embracing it.
That makes
I'm
me
embracing my Dionysian
so
present.
happy, Sam. It really, really does. Can you talk about some of the intention that you wove through in the crafting of this production when it comes to, it's funny. So let me stop myself. There's a scene in this show, in your show, that is so magical. And I don't want to describe it because I want you all to see it if you can. But it's clearly, for me anyway, this magical, holographic layering of energy and iconography that felt
I know what you're talking about.
symbolically calling in or winking at the ancestors of Studio 54, the space.
Yeah.
Obviously, iconography that we'll just broadly call, I don't want to give anything away, but I'll just say celestial.
Mm-hmm.
Still fully camp and trashy, but also like really, truly beautiful and glittering.
Oh, thanks.
And after the show, I talked to Matt about it and I was like, that's my religion. Like I was just so overcome with this. Were you thinking about moments like that when you were crafting this show of like infusing it with those kinds of magical images and so on?
It's my religion too.
Yeah.
It's my religion too. And it's, it's my favorite thing about being a theater director is that things can crash up against each other without explanation, without preparation. It's just like, oh my God, 5 things can exist at the same time. And by getting them all thrown at you at the same time, they create a new image and a new sensation that does something to you. Like that's the joy of theater full stop to me. And so, yes, like the moment that you're referencing was the very first thing that I saw and engineered visually. And when I was designing the show with the amazing design collective Dots, that is the first thing we did, and we worked backwards from there.
Yes.
And that is the sequence of the show where Frank kind of offers his, I don't think this is a spoiler, like dying message to everyone, which is don't dream it, be it, which is big stuff.
I get chills every time anyone utters those words.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. It's like life or death stuff. And so I was like, we have to take this really seriously. But that doesn't mean like, now is the message. Like, that sucks.
Of course.
And so, how to get to think about the history of the space, the ghosts of the space, the present sensation of strangers in a room, the delight, the like queer delight that predates all of us, that queer people have been doing forever, which is just like making beautiful things out of trash.
Yes.
Which is Frankenfurter and is Dionysus, I think.
Yes.
It's like I am creating beauty out of aluminum foil and trash bags. And I'm doing it on a grand scale. I care very deeply about these things. And I would say that if we were doing Hedda Gabler, which like, thank goodness we're not doing. But, Rocky, because Rocky in itself is kind of an omelet or a potpourri or a collage or whatever, it can hold many timelines at once, many images at once.
Yes.
And frankly, it can hold audience experiences that are in contradiction. You, Pam, can be like, that's my religion. And like Sam, same. But like the person next to you could be like, oh my God, this is so funny. And the person next to them could be like, I'm sobbing.
Yes.
And I'm like, everyone is right.
Correct.
Everyone is right.
Correct.
And that complexity, a thing that also is not popular in 2026, is what is to me delicious about making a show. And it's delicious about making theater. And it's like why I don't get bored attempting to make art.
Exactly. I love complexity. I recently said to a friend, I need a t-shirt that says horny for nuance. Because like
just like lay it on
exactly.
me.
It's like that's what makes life delicious is all of the different threads and all of the different energies that come together alchemically and then turn into something surprising, expansive, astonishing, and so on.
I hope so. It's worth trying.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. This episode of The Witch Wave is brought to you by Mithras Candle. Have you ever noticed a leafy face peering down at you from a medieval cathedral ceiling? Or spotted one swinging above a countryside pub? That's the Green Man, one of the oldest and most mysterious figures in the Western imagination. And he's been watching over wild places and hidden corners for centuries. My friends at Mithras Candle have conjured him into their latest limited edition offering, a sculptural Green Man candle made from fragrant North American beeswax, botanical dye, and a cotton wick. The collectible set comes with original box art by illustrator Maria Amaya and a card insert by Clint Marsh of Fiddler's Green. And the whole thing is sized like a tarot deck, so you can take it with you wherever the wild calls. The Green Man is the spirit of the earth, guardian of the forest, a bridge to an ancient, untamed realm. Call on him for renewal, vitality, and prosperity, for ecological attunement and earthly abundance, for the kind of wisdom you won't find in any library. This Green Man candle offering is a limited edition of 300, and pre-orders are open now, so don't wait on it. Head over to mithrascandle.com to bring the Green Man home. That's M as in magic, ITHRAS candle.com. Let the wild in. The Witch Wave is brought to you by BetterHelp. For some people, summer is their favorite season. Travel picks up, kids are out of school, and adventure is the focus. For others, juggling it all can be tough and can lead to overwhelm and counting down the minutes until the kids are back in school, or figuring out how to organize a summer schedule and not waste any of those precious days of sunshine. It can be a lot. And I totally relate to this, because I feel like as children, we're trained to think of the summer as one long, languid break, a time to relax and recharge and recover from a busy school year. But as an adult, my summers are often way busier than other times of the year. We often travel to visit family and friends. There are usually events to attend or participate in, not to mention home repairs, gardening, hosting visitors, and all kinds of creative projects and commitments that demand attention. And if I'm not careful, before I know it, summer is over, and I'm left feeling like I didn't truly enjoy any downtime. But over the years, I've learned that if I don't make time to really lean into that sweet, slow summer energy, I get really burnt out. And so I've made it a point to say no to some invitations and so-called obligations, and to schedule in unstructured summer time, even if it's just an hour here, an afternoon there. And I also make it a point to be as present as possible and indulge in the simple pleasures of the season: eating stone fruit, taking a walk to get some ice cream, doing a small but sincere ritual for the sacred sun. It's important that we take care of ourselves and take time to honor our spirits, even during busy summer months. And therapy can help people better understand their needs, feel more confident setting boundaries, and creating a version of summer that actually feels good. Therapy has truly taught me how to prioritize the things that feed my soul, so I can then have more energy to share with others. And with online therapy, it's now more accessible than ever. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally. And it's super easy to get started. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their over 12 years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get the match right the first time. But if you aren't happy with your match, you can switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recommendations. You don't have to say yes to everything this summer. Find support in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/witchwave. That's betterhelp.com/witchwave. Welcome back to the Witch Wave. Well, this show, not to be tacky, but it's been nominated for 9 fucking Tony Awards. And of course, I'm talking to a Tony Award winner here for Oh Mary. What does a Tony actually mean? Because you strike me as someone who's like a really thoughtful person. I know. And not to put you on the spot, but I'm interested in like, when you get an accolade like that, I have to imagine it is thrilling and joyful and all of that. I guess maybe what I'm really asking is like, what does it not do that people would be surprised? And what does it do that maybe you were surprised by?
I mean, I would
do you know
like
what
to.
I mean?
I do. It's such a good question. I would like to ask 20 people.
Yeah.
I mean, I won a Tony a year ago, which is such a weird thing to say. What it doesn't do, and I'm very happy about this, or at least what it hasn't done for me, is like, now I'm directing Marvel movies.
Right.
Or like, now I'm directing like major IP, the musical.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And frankly, prior to this crazy monumental thing happening to me, that is how I always thought about awards. I was always like, what are awards? Because I'd never really been nominated for anything before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I guess the cool thing about awards is like you win an award and then you get to like do Barbie 6 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I won this award for a thing that I loved that I made with my friends
Yeah.
that started in a small theater that had absolutely no aspiration to become what it has become.
We're talking about Oh Mary. I can't remember if I said that already. Yes.
It's a little known play called Oh Mary.
Don't know if you've heard of it.
And making that play, much like making Rocky Horror, was the most like pure and joyous experience. Like it was just like the absolute pleasure of getting to do the thing that you love the way you love to do it. It couldn't have been less like, we're going to go to Broadway. We're going to like not at all.
Yes.
And so that award for me was this incredible affirmation of trusting my gut and trusting that like do the thing that you love with the people that you love as opposed to the thing that you think is like going to be a banger or going to pay your mortgage.
Yes.
It felt like this vote of confidence to stay a freak.
Yes.
And if anything, to actually go further in the like basement with my weird collaborators as opposed to like, well, now that I'm chic.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the last year, I've been able to point to that as I've made decisions that may be financially reckless. Of like, no, I do think we only get one life. And for as long as I can afford it, I want to do things that feel as terrifying and risky and rewarding personally as that play did.
Yes. Does that feel like something that's harder to hold on to? I imagine you're getting offers for stuff. I don't know. I imagine when one wins a Tony, one then gets offers for things that maybe are a little safer. Maybe they're financially super, viable in some ways, but maybe a little boring. Like, how do you hang on to that energy, that current?
I sort of have two answers. Like, I do feel very stubborn about it.
Yeah.
And I love, like, I just talked to this amazing group of young directors at the Drama League. I was very excited to be like, y'all, I got like the big one. We don't have many things in theater. Like, I got the big one for doing something weird that I promise all of you are currently doing with your friends for $50.
Yes.
So double down on that shit.
Yes.
And I feel like everyone, speaking about Broadway at least, like there's this narrative, and I don't know where it came from or why it exists. It's like, Broadway doesn't reward risk and it's impossible. And I'm like, awesome. That is a fantastic and very sad story.
Yes.
I unfortunately have some proof to the contrary. And I would like to be really positive about that and say like, guess what? Like risk can be rewarded.
Yeah.
And weirdos can flourish in a context that is usually thought of as being really safe or really scared.
Yeah.
So like fear less.
Oh my gosh.
I like that. And fear less, especially those who are making weird shit that hasn't done that yet. So if anything, it has made me absolutely stubborn and crotchety because I want to remind everyone, yes, this amazing thing happened for me, but it didn't happen for Hot Wheels the musical, And like that actually feels like the badge of honor way more than the thing that happened.
Absolutely.
And, also like I am not ashamed to say like I love entertainment. I love making entertainment. Very happy to be called an entertainer. In some ways, I like that more than being called an artist, which comes with pressure.
Yeah.
So like there are things that are broadly popular that I love and that I would love to engage with. But like that's just because I would love to engage with them, not because I'm like, this is going to really be my calling card.
Exactly.
Like I've been doing this long enough to know that that's not true.
This is so inspiring, Sam. I feel like I'm like...
I don't know why I'm screaming at you.
Well, this is something that I've noticed about you.
Oh, no. Did I yell a lot?
No. You are an enthusiast.
I
and
am.
I'm an enthusiast.
Yes, completely.
So when we are together, I feel like I'm yelling too. And funnily enough, I was researching I love etymology because I'm a fucking dork.
No, I love this about you.
And the root of enthusiasm is en, which is in, and theos, which is the gods.
No.
Or God.
Don't make me cry.
So, I know. So enthusiasm is like God in you.
God in me.
Yeah, like God entering you and taking over. And like, that's how it feels, right?
Well, I feel like we both come at our enthusiasm very sincerely. Like, I don't manufacture enthusiasm.
No, same. And I have no chill.
And I often forget that I'm enthusiastic until people reflect back to me like, hey, dude, you've been like screaming and shaking your arms like a Muppet for like 20 minutes. And it's 8 a.m.
Same. And I'm so thrilled you brought the Muppets into the chat because I love the Muppets. And when, like, they're very sacred to me.
Same.
Of course. And I knew this about you without knowing this about you. But when I saw Rocky Horror, like, and I hope you take this in the spirit that's intended, I'm like, there's something Muppety about this. Like,
That's
there's
the
a
highest compliment you could pay me.
a whimsy to it. And like, oh, what's that phrase that I think Frank Oz would use to describe the Muppets? Affectionate anarchy. I know.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Isn't that so incredible?
Wow.
That's like the core principle of the I know,
anarchy.
affectionate anarchy. That's Frank Oz's like core principles of the Muppets. And then someone else, I forget, I think it might have been, I can't remember, but one of the other main Muppeteers said that Jim Henson had a whim of steel. And I think you have a whim of steel.
Oh, that's so good.
So let me ask you, who's your favorite Muppet?
Gonzo?
Stop it!
No, is yours Gonzo?
We're just like blowing all the levels out. Gonzo is my fucking fave.
Yeah, the absolute best.
Let's just talk
Did you
about.
think I was going to say Miss Piggy?
I mean, I wasn't sure.
No, all Gonzo.
All Gonzo, all
1,000%.
day, all night.
Yeah.
Gonzo.
Yeah, I feel very affirmed by Gonzo. Like, there's like some kind of representation with Gonzo that I can't articulate in words.
First of all, canonically now non-binary.
Wow.
Yeah, there was like this Muppet. We're just going to talk about
learning
Muppets for
so
a minute.
much.
There was a Muppet Babies, like the new version, the reboot, where Gonzo, I think it's called like Gonzarella. Gonzo wants to be Cinderella, and Gonzo wears a gown to the ball.
Incredible.
And they have a whole talk about it, number one. The other thing I think about with Gonzo, which feels, I promise it's looping back to Rocky. So the sexologist Dan Savage has this phrase that being a good lover means you're very GGG, good, giving, and game. And I'm like, that's Gonzo. Gonzo's fucking with chickens.
Wow,
Like Gonzo is
yes.
like Gonzo, you know Gonzo's fun.
Good giving and game.
And caring, you know?
Yes, of course.
Never mind while I sexualize the Muppets. But that GGG,
Yes.
like Gonzo energy
Yes.
feels very Rocky Horror to me
1,000%.
too, whatever that is.
And it's not like I'm so moved by affectionate anarchy as a combination of words or whim of steel because it isn't up here. It isn't froth.
Yes.
Like Muppety is a high compliment to any of my work.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope I never make something that can't be described as Muppety.
Yes.
But there's guts there.
Mhm.
And that, you know, I mean, we could write a paper about survival and, you know, how queer people have been innovative over generations.
Mhm.
But, you know, that Muppety aluminum foil shit means so much
Yes.
to the people who make it.
Exactly.
Present company included.
So
But that's
kind.
the, you know, the Muppets have guts
Yeah.
and they have hearts.
Oh my God.
They have hearts and it's not sentimental.
Correct.
It's just like, "Arr."
And there is a sweetness though too.
Yeah.
But it's not saccharine.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the Muppets aren't trying to be cool. And I'm fucking so exhausted by things trying to be cool.
Yes.
It's like, just have a heart, say your
Yes.
shit, don't be cool.
Exactly. One of the things I say a lot is that magic is embarrassing
Ah.
because you have to let go of your self-consciousness. You're doing goofy shit. Like
Yes.
there were moments during our ritual when I was like, I hope everyone's with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of it's a little goofy.
Yeah.
But you're really showing up with like full sincerity and openness. And you have to let go of that self-consciousness in order to have a transformative experience.
Yes, that vulnerability unlocks something. When you are
Exactly.
like, can you hold your arms like this? I'm like, I look like an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And in that discomfort, something happens.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yes.
And you can't anticipate what it's going to be.
Correct.
It's also why like singing as a group in church does something.
Mhm.
Even if you're like, I feel like an asshole singing this song.
Yes, yes. Did you grow up religious? Like, what was your
I
relationship
did.
to spirituality, magic, all of that?
So I grew up Greek Orthodox and I'm so happy to report like I have sub-zero religious trauma because Greek Orthodox is basically like drag queen Catholics.
oh my God.
I fucking loved going to church because it's all, I mean, it's gorgeous.
Did you have
gold.
incense?
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Like choking
See, I'm so jealous
incense.
about that.
And like gold robes and like the
Yes.
churches are beautiful.
Spectacle.
It's gay as hell.
Yes.
So I loved going to church. It's like high symbolism, right? It's all symbolism.
It's theater. Hello.
Oh my God. I'm weirdly like quite churchy. I'm not practicing, but
Mhm.
I love love going to church. I like anytime somebody's like, do you want to come to my church? Like, as long as it's not a pyramid scheme, I'm like, please, yes.
Yeah.
I would love to go to church with you.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Can you say more about that? What do you get out of it? In addition to the spectacle, like, does it make you feel a certain way?
Well, I'm just like, as a baseline, just like moved by a group of people believing in something bigger than themselves, which like can be dangerous, of course.
Sure. This is how we get cults.
Yeah. But I just think there's like nothing more moving. And if it's a group of people believing in something that is like harmful to other people, like I'm good.
Yeah.
But
Meaning you're not good.
yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that on the record.
Yes.
But I love for 90 minutes, we're gonna just like agree on a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that singing is so vulnerable as a group. I mean, it's theater. It is theater, but it's stripped down to its most essential. And, sometimes like people say things that are, again, depressing and sad about the future of theater. Like, nobody wants to go to the theater. Like, no. And I'm like, well, plenty of people want to go to church and plenty of people want to go to a basketball game.
Yes.
And those are two things that move me deeply.
Yes.
Because it's just like we as a group are like, we are cheering for this, whether that thing is God or whether that thing is the Knicks.
Yes.
And it's the best.
Emil Durkheim, he coined this phrase, collective effervescence.
Yes, of course.
And that's how, like, I feel when I'm in a group making magic or singing or cheering for the WNBA or whatever it is. Exactly.
I mean, that's the mission. Like, that is the mission. That is why I make theater.
Yes.
It is, like, if you can even have a shot at making 6 seconds of collective effervescence. That is a service, I think.
And we need it. And I think people are feeling more and more isolated, and we don't have to lament about screens, blah, blah, blah. We all know. And I know the irony of you watching this on a screen right now for some of the people who are. Sorry. But being in person with someone, there's just no replacing it.
None.
There's nothing like it.
Correct.
On that note, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. This episode of The Witch Wave is brought to you by Blessed Be Magic Jewelry. I've been noticing something lately, especially in the conversations we have here on The Witch Wave, which is that so many of you are drawn to magic that's subtle, magic that's intentional, integrated into daily life, and deeply personal. And that's why I want to share Blessed Be Magic. They craft minimalist, elevated jewelry for modern witches. These are beautiful pieces inspired by powerful symbolism, made to be worn every day. Think witchcraft and goddess charms, talismans, and sacred symbols that feel quietly powerful. Not costumey, not loud, just intentional. And I think listeners here on The Witch Wave will really appreciate that, because so much of what we explore on this show is about weaving magic into the ordinary, into our creativity, and into living with purpose and presence. And Blessed Be Magic's jewelry really supports that way of living. And what also stands out to me is how the witchcraft community raves about their pieces. They have over 3,000 five-star reviews, and again, witches say that these are the pieces they never take off. Jewelry they wear to ritual, to work, and everywhere in between. You can visit blessedbemagic.com to explore jewelry made to honor your path. That's Blessed Be Magic, spelled MAGICK.com, and use code WitchWave for 15% off your first order. This episode of The Witch Wave is brought to you by Zoo's Incense, who make some of my favorite incense on earth. I adore the fact that Zoo's Incense is an all-natural, handmade product, and that all of their ingredients are organic or wild-crafted using whole plants, seeds, roots, woods, tree resins, and tinctures. Zoo's has several incense blends currently available, and each one smells like a sacred temple. They also now have monthly incense subscriptions for you incense heads, and these are discounted over their regular prices. Zoos also sometimes collaborates with different artists and craftspeople to make limited edition incense burners, and they also offer charcoal, raw aromatics like frankincense and myrrh, and other incense supplies. Now, I love Zoo's incense so much that I've collaborated with them on my very own Witch Wave incense blend, which is inspired by my matron moon goddess, Artemis. It contains such Artemisian ingredients as sandalwood, orris root, myrrh, mugwort, and other lunar herbs, as well as organic ylang-ylang essential oil, and which smells like nectar and ambrosia. The Witch Wave incense blend is available exclusively in the Witch Wave shop over at witchwavepodcast.com/shop. So be sure to order your Witch Wave incense blend direct from us now. And you can find Zooz's other bewitching incense blends, such as Sun Smoke and Bacchus, on their website, which is zoozzincense.com. That's ZOUZ, incense.com. And best of all, promo code WitchWave gets you 10% off of orders from their site. And if you're ordering direct from them, you'll also get free shipping on orders over $60. And this works with the WitchWave promo code too. So go ahead and check them out at zoozzincense.com and use promo code WitchWave for 10% off. Hi, Witchwavers. I know, and you know, you want some Witch Wave merch. And our print-on-demand merch site is now available through Dashery. So if you want to get different variations of our gorgeous Witch Wave logo designed by Thunderwing, or our Witches Are the Future catchphrase designed by Lara Antal, printed on everything from t-shirts, mugs, totes, stickers, magnets, notebooks, you name it, you can. Shirts come in different styles and fabrics and are available in sizes small through 5XL, so you can order whatever you'll feel you're most comfortable and most magical in. So head on over to witchwave.dashery.com. That's witchwave.dashery.com, or you can click the Dashery link in the Witchwave shop over at witchwavepodcast.com/shop. Welcome back to the Witchwave. So I want to ask you, as a director, I have to imagine that some of the job, in addition to like making beautiful stage pictures, that some of it might be one-on-one kind of like, I don't know, spiritual or emotional coaching. And maybe I'm wrong, and please correct me if I am. And maybe I'm just projecting, but I have to imagine, without naming names, there are moments when you might be dealing with a performer or an artist who maybe is feeling a moment of self-doubt, or fear or imposter syndrome or whatever. How do you see your role in terms of kind of like helping them get to where they need to get to in terms of their own self-belief?
It's such a big part of my job. And it's a part of my job that I love. I love getting to bring people together. I love trying to get people excited about a common goal. I don't always succeed. I think part of what I love about directing is like, I get to make something in the space between the two of us. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm like, here's my awesome thing. Can you please execute it? It's like, no, we are collaborating.
Yes.
And that is true for an actor. That is true for a stage manager. That is true for an usher. Like there is a collaboration that exists in the air between us.
Yes.
And I think a big part of my job is to meet people where they are. And I can't say, I'm here. Like I'm Mr. Enthusiastic Muppet Hands. And I need you to be that. And that's taken some like hard learning, because I sometimes come into a thing and I'm like, well, if I'm so excited about it, everyone should be so excited about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we don't all walk through the same door to get to enthusiasm.
Yes.
And so, I'm not a licensed social worker, nor do I wish to be.
Yeah.
And I have come across things in my job where I'm like, this is a problem that I'm not qualified to
Yes,
solve.
yes.
But I think especially about actors, like I love my Rocky Horror cast so intensely.
And what a cast.
They're the greatest.
Ah.
But so much about these characters in Rocky Horror and Rocky Horror as an event is like doing things that surprise you. Like there's something in you that has never been able to get out before.
Yes.
And through this show and these songs, this thing that was hiding in there can be expressed. That is terrifying. Terrifying.
Yes.
And so many times I've had to be like very sincerely like, you do have this. And that can't be empty, right? It's not like Mighty Ducks, like,
yeah,
just get out there, kid.
Yes.
Like everybody needs their own thing when it comes to dealing with fear. And I do believe it's like tale as old as time, but revealing your own vulnerability can help others through scary, vulnerable moments.
That's it.
I love saying what I don't know. I am horny for that level of honesty in my work, in relationships, to just be like, this is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
This is what I'm insecure about.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm a director, so like I'm only in my own rooms, but I have learned that maybe that's not how it always goes. And it creates closeness that's real, that's not transactional. We got to help each other through our problems.
That's it. That's it. I do want to talk a bit more about this cast because the alchemy, and that's a word that keeps ringing through my head as you're talking about the space between people. Like you're talking about alchemy, you're talking about bringing these disparate energies together and distilling them and making something better, perhaps, than its raw materials. And you're starting with excellent raw materials here, let's be clear. How did you put together this cast? I mean, what were you thinking about in terms of those different energies? Because you weren't only pulling from the musical theater world. You're pulling from a lot of different worlds, and there are a lot of different like tones and performances and experience levels in this cast.
Yeah, I mean, a really smart person that I met told me 10 minutes ago that Frank Oz said affectionate anarchy. And I'd like to revise my entire casting process of Rocky Horror to say the thing I was going for was affectionate anarchy.
Perfect.
You know, it's a gift of the title that just means so many things to so many people. So I thought about, we have 1,000 strangers coming into Studio 54 every night. I want them to all have someone or something to grab onto.
Yes.
So it wouldn't make any sense if these people looked the same or moved the same or had the same resume or had the same performance experience. And the joy of it is these different ages and skill sets and everything hitting against each other. I wanted that to be really noisy and jagged. I didn't want that to be smoothed out.
Yes.
And so I was very conscious about like where people were coming from. I also, it's cheesy maybe, but like I just wanted it to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I control? I can try to control that this is a nice thing to make that we look forward to every day. And, you know, we made this show during a horrific chapter in being alive.
Yes.
And so it was important to me to work with nice people. And you've been around the company. They're nice people.
Dolls.
Yeah.
Total dolls.
And people who are, sorry to say, but like, what are the G's?
Good giving and game.
Good giving and game. Good giving and game.
Yes.
I did not have sex with any or all of them.
You've heard it here.
But that's the spirit,
Yeah.
you know? And there is something about the, you know, it's such an audacious proposal. It's like we're doing the Rocky Horror Show on Broadway at Studio 54.
Yeah.
You got to put a team together that is just going to be like down to clown.
Yes, that's it.
And so it was as much a vibe thing as it was a like, this person would be good at this part.
Yes.
Like that stuff is the easy part. You know, the joyous part and the really hard part is like, what's the alchemy of a group going to be?
Yes.
And I do feel very proud of how it worked out on this show.
Ugh, I mean, it's magnificent. Speaking of alchemy, I'm sure you have talked about Oh Mary so much, but can you indulge me and just talk about the alchemy between you and Cola Scola?
Oh.
How did you even find each other? Because I feel like for those of us who love to collaborate, it's kind of like a stars aligning kind of moment when you find your people. How did you come to find each other?
Cole and I have known each other forever. We're like around the same age. We came to New York around the same time. We worked on a musical together like 15 years ago about Madonna and Britney Spears. written by the amazing Dan Fishback. It was a great show that I choreographed and Cole was in. I think I always was like, that person is singular and hilarious. I followed their work, like many of us, over many years. But Oh Mary was our first time collaborating in this way.
Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them?
They reached out to me, and I read the play and I loved the play, and we started talking, and Cole and I both really love theater in like such a nerdy, basic way. Like we both love theater the way that you loved theater when you were doing The Music Man when you were 14. And I think we both worked pretty hard to protect that flame of like, it's fun to do a play. And Cole, of course, is like a hilarious visionary genius, but they're also a really hard worker. They're really tender. They're really kind. There's just a lot of spiritual overlap we have in terms of like the values of making something.
Yeah.
And for all of the anarchy of Oh Mary, it was an incredibly calm and measured process.
Amazing. I love hearing that, actually.
Yeah, we're both like detail people.
Yeah.
And we're both really exacting. We're both pretty obsessive. We both have a relatively unhealthy sense of the boundaries of time and space when it comes to work.
Yes.
I think I'm at my best when I'm like working in an obsessive state, which I should talk to my therapist about. So it really made sense and continues to, which is like incredible. Like we talk daily because we still have things to do on this play that we've been working on for 3 years.
I mean, Oh Mary's now, there's the tour. It's in London. And obviously, I mean, Maya Rudolph. And I just saw that Meg Stalter is going to be the next Mary. I mean, this is wild and wonderful. How much do you interface with the new Marys? I imagine you can't necessarily be there in the same way you were with Cole at the beginning.
I'm not around all the time because that would be disruptive. And they would be like, why is that gay guy bothering us all the time? You know?
Yes.
But I do like to be around.
Yeah.
Because it's pleasant. Maya Rudolph is an awesome human being.
Yes.
So it's like nice to be around, to be like, how's it going? What do you need? But I try not to hover. But I love the play and I'm so proud of the play and I cannot believe what has happened with it. And I always thought if I ever had a play run for 2 years, it would be, I'll say it again, Hot Wheels the musical.
Yes.
So I just like can't believe that this like big Broadway hit is like our play where somebody drinks their own vomit. You don't have to drag me there, you know?
Yes.
Like I like tending to it. And frankly, like I take very seriously that there will be people who are like on vacation who are going to see their first Broadway show and it might be Oh Mary.
Yes.
I would like for it to be as excellent as it was 2 years ago.
Yep.
I don't want to take that for granted. And that takes a lot of work.
I'm sure it does. I am sensing, yes, I thought so, that we only have a few minutes left, which I can't believe. I feel like we've been talking for like 15 seconds. But I do want to really dig a little deeper in our last moments together around how are you feeling about magic? How are you feeling about theater as magic? I mean, I know that's such a broad question, but I trust you to take it wherever you feel called to take it.
Well, I mean, I think by virtue of being here and having the collaboration that I have with you, I'm all in. Like, I'm so, like, I am all in. And I feel like I've been given this incredible gift with the process of Rocky Horror. And I will credit you with this, Pam. Like, I felt empowered to not apologize for my own belief in a kind of magic that can exist around process, that can exist around theater, that can exist around art making. I felt empowered to not apologize for my desire to do like dumb rituals and to like make people dance in circles and make people like write things on Post-its and light candles. And it's been reflected back to me in really beautiful ways of like, hey, I know that may have felt a little like embarrassing or uncomfortable, but then it meant something. It meant something that I said this thing out loud or that I took 20 seconds in silence to like set some kind of intention. And I don't know. I think that like this process of Rocky Horror and frankly, working with you has made me be like, oh my God, the call was coming from inside of the house. And I've like looked back on how I've worked all these years. And I think I've tried to make the part of myself that really believes in magic and wants to like insist on the existence of magic in rooms, I've tried to make that smaller.
Mm.
And actually, I'm like, no, that's the special sauce.
Yes.
Like, that's going to be there for us when nothing else is. So I'm like really moving into my, like, to borrow a phrase from our friend Rachel Dratch, I'm moving into my like unapologetic woo-woo era, I think. And it's like, I want it all. I really do. It was hard to make that show. And there were some like dark, dark days. And like, I'm not kidding. The thing that actually got me through was like magic. It actually was.
That is so beautiful. And I'm going to be nosy and ask, are there any specific tools that you used, rituals, or if you'd rather keep it private, that's totally fine too. But just for listeners and viewers, was there something that was like a touchstone for you or like working with a certain deity? And if you'd rather keep it private, that's totally
I love it.
fine.
I mean, it was a whole omelet because I didn't mean for this to turn into like an ad for the Pam Grossman cinematic universe.
They're already listening.
But like your writing and your counsel, I mean, I feel like I like cheekily, jokingly was like, Pam Grossman is the spiritual advisor to the Rocky Horror Show on Broadway. And then it kind of turned into me being like, Pam, what do I do about this? But
which were my favorite texts, by the way.
But you like gave me permission. I think I always felt nervous. I always have felt like, oh, but I'm not like qualified to lead rituals or create rituals. And you have given me permission to be like, no, it can be many things at once.
And you've been doing it this whole time.
Yeah.
You have, Sam.
Thanks, I guess. You know, like, oh, great. Like, light a candle if you can. If you can't, it hasn't collapsed.
Correct.
There were all kinds of things. I mean, yeah, I like summoned Dionysus a lot, which, as I said, started as a joke and turned into like, oh, I'm talking to Dionysus. And I think I sent this to you, but Stephen Sondheim wrote this invocation to Dionysus in his adaptation of The Frogs by Aristophanes. And it's devastating.
It's so beautiful. You did send it to me.
And it's a very pure prayer to Dionysus. And in our first preview, I cannot believe I'm saying this out loud on a podcast, I went in the balcony of the theater and I read it out loud. I was just like, I just want to say these words. And I've never done anything like that. And I was like, oh, right, this is why prayer exists.
Yeah.
Like, it helps to say these things out loud.
Yeah.
There's an altar in the space.
Yes.
Also never said that on the record, but like, we have these like wacky mannequin aliens overlooking the balcony. On their desk are all of these objects that in various moments in the process have been endowed with some kind of specialness. Some with you present, Pam, some in rehearsal, some that I've sneakily snuck up there and just placed a little thing.
Love a magical Easter egg.
There's elements from rituals, some with you, some with us in rehearsal, that are hiding in the set. And in moments of exhaustion or terror or nervousness, I might go into Frank's lab and visit the like candle that means something from X. Having objects hold meaning, and like history has been like this weird life raft in the process, actually.
This is so beautiful. Sam.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to say goodbye.
I'm too obsessed.
So listen. In our very last moments together, is there anything that you would like to speak into existence for yourself, for the kind of theater you want to make, your hopes for Rocky Horror, anything that comes to mind, just because, you know, we've conjured a lot of energy here today.
What a brilliant and tough ask. I just want tenderness and adventure and like joy, and I want to do scary things and have fun doing them. And I want that for other people. And complexity and nuance and all of the amazing things that I learned, like affectionate anarchy.
Yes, yes.
I'm obsessed with these things, and I want to like spread them around.
Well, the theater is so lucky to have you. Sam, for
the
real.
theater's lucky to have you.
Oh, stop it. So lucky to have you. I feel so lucky to have had this window of time with you, this collaboration with you.
Likewise.
I just think the world of you, the worlds of you. And I can't thank you enough for being here. Thank you so much, Sam Pinkleton.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for the show. Thank you again to Sam Pinkleton for sharing his spectacular stage sorcery with me. Do you have questions, feedback, need some witchly advice, or just want to share something magical that happened to you recently? Drop us an email or a voice memo over at witchwavepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, and you just might make it on the Witch Wire. Please check out the video of my conversation with today's guest and prior guests over at my YouTube channel @Phantasmophile, and please like and subscribe. The Witch Wave is a Phantasmophile production, written and produced by me, Pam Grossman. We are 100% independently run and proud of it. This episode was recorded and edited by Josh Wilcox and/or Walter Nordquist and myself. Our theme music is the song Hand and I by Lycanthia. Our new Witch Wave logo was designed by Thunderwing. Special thanks go to Matt Freeman, Laura Antal, and Cece Pascal. Please pick up my books Magic Maker and Waking the Witch, or the Witchcraft volume I co-edited for Tashin's Library of Esoterica series. And if you want more Witch Wave, or you would just like to support the show, please join us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/witchwave. Thank you so much for listening. Witches are the future. I'll catch you next time on The Witch Wave.